There are different ways in which data is generated when people interact with content online. So far, we looked at web server logs and cookies. Now we're going to take a look at pixels, which are sometimes also referred to as tags. Pixels and tags are used for tracking, measurement, and advertising. Let's take a look. When you have a website, you will often work with different companies to help you manage and monetize your site, as well as understanding how people navigate your site. You may work with a company that helps you track user behavior on your site, for instance, or companies that help you advertise your products. In order for these companies to help you, you need to pass some information or data to them about what's happening on your site. You, as a publisher, can see all the information in your server logs, but since these other companies that help you don't have access to your servers, you need another way to give them information. That's where pixels or tags come in. That sounds a bit like cookies. How is this different? Remember that cookies are added to the user's browser after an interaction has been established. So if I go to my favorite news site, I create a connection with them. Their servers send me some information, and in the process of sending me that info, they store some information in my browser via a cookie. Advertisers that show ads on that news site can follow a similar process since their ad server will send me the ad, so an interaction between my browser and the ad server is established. But if my favorite news site uses Google Analytics to help them track and measure behavior on the site, there isn't really any interaction that's automatically established between my browser and Google Analytics. Google Analytics is not sending the content or the ads, so there isn't anything I need from its servers to browse around on my favorite news site. If the news site wants to send information about my browsing, it needs to add some extra code to its site that sends data to Google Analytics. That extra code that will be integrated in the site is referred to as a pixel or a tag. A pixel or tag is a small piece of code, often JavaScript, that instructs the website to send some information to an identified third party. As you know, a website is made up of lines of code. Pixels and tags are integrated inside that code. Here is what a pixel may look like. This example is the pixel from Facebook. From the user point, this code doesn't really do anything. You don't see the pixel. In fact, it literally is a super tiny transparent square. Hence, it's called a pixel. When you visit a website, all the website code loads, and when this piece of code loads, the transparent pixel is displayed and the pixel is loaded. It will collect some information about the page you are on and the actions you take and send that information back to the server of the party identified in the pixel. In our example, that party would be Facebook. The information will then be used to help the website owner. In the case of the Facebook pixel, the information is used to help connect advertising on Facebook with actions taken on the site. The website owner can then check how effective advertising on Facebook was to encourage certain behaviors, like purchasing or subscribing, for instance. Code in a pixel can also be used to store a cookie in the browser of the user. Pixels and tags are primarily used for tracking, measurement, and advertising purposes. Some very common examples are the Google Analytics tag, which tracks user behavior on a website and uses the data to provide publishers with insightful reports of the number of visitors, the content that's most popular, the actions taken on a site, and so on. The Facebook pixel we just referred to is another popular example. Websites that advertise on Facebook will use it to evaluate whether their advertising results in the desired actions. They also use it to create custom target audiences, groups of people that have engaged with the website and that the publisher would like to target with very specific advertising messages. The Google Ads remarketing tag is another example. It functions similarly to the Facebook pixel and is used by advertisers to advertise to people who previously interacted with their site. If you are the website owner, you can integrate these pixels or tags on your web pages. The code is provided to you by the company whose pixel you are installing. So you can get the code for the Facebook pixel from Facebook. Similarly, other companies like Google, for instance, will provide anyone who wants to install their pixels or tags with the code to do so. Usually, you can find that code in their help documentation or other help tools for developers. As a marketing analyst, you may not be the person who will be adding the pixel code to a web page, but it really helps to understand how pixels and tags work. That way, you can ask the developers of the website for some help when you have data needs that require pixels or tags.